What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. How's it going? Another V1 live stream coming at you here on this lovely Friday afternoon for me, morning for some of you, evening for a lot of you out there, especially where we're flying around. I know a lot of you stand up late to catch these streams. I do appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying the content to stay up that late. I know somebody said they were staying up till midnight, but anyway, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that slight little delay there. I poured myself a nice little adult beverage, and it happened to foam up over the top. I am not drunk yet. Not drunk, Chris. Not yet, man. But we're going to have a nice relaxing flight today over to Barcelona, Spain. I can't wait to relax on the beaches of Spain there and just hang out. So in order to get there, though, we have to get this bird out of here. We came into Lugano 2 days ago, and it was absolutely stunning. I love that approach in here, even though we kind of fumbled it a little bit. Well, we made it. We stayed safe. We stayed high. We came back around. And we did the right thing. Got the airplane back on track, and made a nice little greaser into Lugano. So now we're gonna have to go max performance takeoff mode to get this bird out of here. Now, happy Friday to you, Gerald. Good to see you, man. Jeff Fabiano, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat, dude. Welcome to the stream, man. Glad to have you on board, Jeff. So yeah, we're going to have to do a max performance takeoff out of here. Now, the fuel and passenger loading is also going to be restricted. We're going to be weight restricted to get out of here. Now, we're going to talk about the performance and stuff and when it's time, but that will be coming at you once we get started up. I want to get the plane loaded up, fueled up, and then we can talk about our max performance takeoff procedures. Thank you, new member. Who was that there? I missed the name. Gintaris Stoss, man. I probably just totally butchered that. But thank you so much for joining the channel, man. Exclamation point, welcome. Welcome aboard. Welcome to first class, as Dimitri likes to say. How about this livery, though? Dougal said this is the livery that inspired the Simwings livery as well. And I just love this gray and yellow. Something about gray and yellow. And I'm not even a huge yellow fan, but the gray and yellow combination, it just looks sharp. And of course, we got the lovely NEO engines. Take a look at this. Oh, yes. And then, I have two of the same views bound. That's not good. We're going to have to change that. We've got a slightly aft there. I should have one of these views for over here. So we're going to have to back up one of these. I think we're going to back up this one. We got to make this view an aft wing view. We can't be flying around with improper wing views. That is definitely not the juice. So let's put you right here. Oh, I don't want to go into the wall there. Perfect. All right, we got 1 and 2, and then we also have it without the window glass there. Sometimes the glass can be a little bit of annoying, but this engine is looking juicy as always, guys. Let's go ahead and get this puppy loaded up, boarded up, and we're gonna get out of here. We'll talk about what we're gonna do a little bit differently on our departure. And so yeah, let's get started. Let's jump right into it. I hope my overhead is bound. There we go. All right, so we're cold and dark airplane, just like last time. I'm coming in here. We got 27.7. Power up battery number 1. That powers the off light. We'll go ahead and fire up number 2. Power trips in there, and immediately I'm just going to establish electrical power to the airplane, get everything powering up. We don't need this overhead integrity light there, or integral light, I should say. Now, I put a vote out for the commercial pilots prior to the stream. What should we fly sim time? And believe it or not, it was a tie between, was it a night arrival and sunset or something like that? Let's see. Let me just check again. But I'm going to say you guys are going to like this arrival because Spain, the coast of Barcelona there looks stunning when we're coming. Yeah, it's still tied. So it was the dawn departure with a mid-morning arrival and the late afternoon departure with the sunset arrival were tied. So I'm going to go ahead and break the tie, and we're going to go in there with a late sunset arrival. It's not going to be pitch black, but it's going to be dark, so we have a takeoff time we need to meet, and it's going to be really stunning coming in with the lighting. And I have a little freeware city mod as well for Barcelona. It's great. Now, when we depart, hopefully I'll have my Spain UHD tiles all downloaded. Donald says, you're serving crawfish today. Excellent, man. Excellent. Jump and Run says, we need a V1 quiz and cruise. Oh, like Flight Factor Sim just did. Yeah, so, man, Flight Factor Sim had a fantastic approach and landing into Calvi earlier. Mr. Swedish Plano, or Mr. Swedish Piano, Mr. Swedish Piano, 20 Norwegian krone donation. Thanks so much. What a better way to end my birthday. Happy birthday to you, man. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate your support on the channel, dude. Really, really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Happy birthday to you as well. But definitely, FlightFactor had a fantastic stream, and he took another one from us. I mean, granted, he was in his airplane. He was in the 737, but he did get a fantastic butter in Calvi on his Calvi St. Catherine approach. So hats off to him. But yeah, I really liked what he did there. He had a quiz in cruise. I think that was a lot of fun. I actually learned or remembered a couple things because I've been out of it for so long that sitting there trying to get the answers right was pretty fun. So that was pretty cool. All right, so we've got the airplane powering up here. Nav TCAS fault. That's normal. We'll go ahead and clear that out. All the doors are open here on the status. Wow, it is hot in this room. We're going to have to turn the air conditioning on because it is toasty. All right, just had to turn the air on from my phone there because I'm going to be sweating by the time this ends here. So, all right, we've got the airplane powering up, and let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan today. We're going to be departing LSZA. It'll be nice to finally land somewhere with a long runway. I'm excited for that, believe it or not. All right, so we've got our beautiful NEO looking good here. Dougal says, really pleased you saw the flight deck to sim landing. Oh, man, I wasn't going to miss that. It was stunning, man. Awesome. It's a tricky approach, especially to do it right. I mean, to come in, he did a go-around and everything. Speaking of, I was already going to tell you guys, today we're going to do a go-around. Now, we can either do a soft go-around or like a hard go-around, like a low altitude or sometimes even a bulk landing. I haven't done one on stream other than the one we kind of did coming in here with kind of a soft go-around, but I thought it would be entertaining to you since we're not doing a crazy approach to do a full-blown go-around procedure so you can see how it's handled in the real airplane. So we'll talk about that a little bit in cruise. So we got VL. We're going to be VLG 533. Cost index of 55. Cruise altitude 340. We'll throw that in the box. Iris and NIT align on ref. Confirm the alignment, and we are ready to go. Let me get my ND here up for you. We can go ahead and get this in the box. Driver 83, happy Friday, man. Happy Friday to you. Welcome on board, dude. What is the default UK scenery like on X-Plane 11? High Flyer, to be honest, man, all I did was I got the Orbix UK before I even flew over there in default because that was one of the first Orbix sceneries in X-Plane. So I didn't really fly in the UK and until I saw Orbix came out with it, and that's when I picked it up. So unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and depart runway 19er on the VOG1 Whiskey. So we're going to go departure, Voghera. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Voghera, 1 Whiskey departure, and we're taking it all the way out to Voghera, which is VOR, it happens to be. So let's scroll all the way down. The VOG 1 Whiskey departure. Insert that. That takes us all the way out to VOG. From there, we're going direct to PADCO. PADKO. Insert. From there, we're going to join. Oop, should be on plan mode, so we can actually see what's going on here as we do this here. From there, we're going to pick up an airway. Upper Mike 984. And we're going to take that out to DIVCO. DIVKO. And then from there to BISPA. So we'll go ahead and insert that. Scroll down. DIVCO. Insert BISBA. BISBA. What livery am I rocking? We are rocking the Vueling. Travis Kemp, it's a Cessna. What's up, man? I thought you were supposed to be at the lake today, dude. BISBA 1 Whiskey, so we're going to go to arrival. We're going to do the ILS Zulu 25 left. ILS Zulu 25 left off the Bisba 1 Whiskey. Is that? There it is. Bisba 1 Whiskey from... I don't think we're going to do a VIA, right? Oh, CLE. Let's take a quick look at that arrival before we throw in the transition. I don't think we're doing an approach via ILS Zulu 25 left. Where are we coming in from? We might be coming in from Charlie Lima Echo, right? Because we are on the arrival. Bisba 1 Whiskey. It's interesting how this takes you way out here. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. I'm going to have to take a look at this real quick here. This is the Bisba 1 Whiskey. What else do we have? There's so many. I mean, look at all these arrivals. Jeez. Bisba 1 X-ray? No. Let's load in the approach. This is probably going to look interesting here, but let's just take a look at our box. Let's see what this loads in here. Yeah, we don't need to go way out there. That's not the right arrival. We're going to different. So we got to have a different arrival. That's not the right arrival. Is it the Bisba 1 Zulu? I think it's the 1 Zulu. There we go. Swappy! Coming in with the... Oh my gosh, don't tell me again, man. I swear I was gonna remember what that symbol was. Thank you so much, man, for your support. I really appreciate it. He says, because you deserve it, thank you. It's 1 in the night here. Wow, man, I'm sorry it's so late for you, dude. I'm sorry that I don't remember that symbol. It's driving me nuts. But thank you so much for your support, man. I hope if you can stay away for a little bit. If not, no worries. The replay will always be waiting for you. So thank you again for supporting the channel. All right, so let's take a look. Vog, Divco, Bisba. There we go. That's what we want. So now we look at our arrival. That's out to CLE. Approach via. But now I can't do an approach via off this, huh? Transition not available. Approach via. There we go. That's what I want. It's a little backwards in this box. I don't know why. Insert that. Okay, so now if we take a look at our box, we can see we've got exactly what we want. We'll turn the constraint modes on as well. We'll come down the arrival, and it leads you right into the ILS, which is nice. So we've got that set up. It's going to be a beautiful arrival over the coastline. Indian Rupees, Flight Surgeon, thank you. Gosh, I knew it started with an R. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, dude. Rupees. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the that currency, but we got that in the box now. Okay, RadNav. We're gonna have to do some tuning here, so let's go and get rid of our arrival information because we'll talk. We have plenty of time en route to talk about that. But our departure. Let's take a look at this. This is the Lugano, Switzerland departure for Vocera 1 Whiskey. We're going to be departing off runway 19er. Going off runway 1 would be scary as all hell. Max 150 knots and a right turn with a minimum bank of 25 degrees. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Especially since the wind, I think last, according to SimBrief here, let me do a refresh. I thought it was blowing out of the south. Yeah, 120 at variable at 2 now. Huh. Well, if it's variable at 2, we're definitely going to go off runway. Going off runway 19er. We're not going to go northbound if we can help it. So, looking at this approach here, we have to maintain a certain DME climb out as well. So you can see here ILU DME minimum altitudes for departing runway 19er. So we need to hard tune the ILU DME. So we're going to just put in the ILU identifier, India Lima uniform. We'll throw that into the ILS frequency right here. There we go. And the one that's 1 mile away. So now I've hard tuned the localizer so I can have that DME on my ND here. When I press the LS push button, I got that hard tune there. Perfect. We don't need to put a course in there because it's just referencing the DME. This SID requires a minimum climb grading of 10.2% up to 4,100 feet. We need to be cooking out of here. So we can do it, especially loaded properly with the Toga takeoff and packs off. A couple other cautions here. This is an interesting note. I saw this. Part of the procedure is leading through airspace class Echo. VFR traffic without radio communication and without transponder must be expected. That's very interesting and slightly unnerving, to be honest, that I saw that on here. I don't think I've ever, unless I can't remember, I don't think I've ever seen this note on a departure procedure, at least where I've been. Maybe I have and I just can't remember, but I thought that was a very interesting note, basically saying, hey, you might see some traffic that we have no idea where they're going, where they're coming from, or whatnot. A couple of climb out restrictions. We're going to be going out to Malpensa and then a left turn to Voghera, and then we're going to basically be on route. So that looks good. If we bang an engine, this is interesting. We probably aren't going to be able to come back in here. We'll have to burn fuel, but we're gonna load it up anyway. This would be one of those runways or airports where if you would have a departure alternate, but I'm gonna just put this in here for sim purposes. But I doubt you would use this airport for your. We'll do the IGSO1 again. Insert that perf data. We'll load up the perf data while we're here anyway. We need to put this back into QNH. QNH right now is 1026. Load it up. Temperature outside is 15 degrees. And the winds are pretty much variable, so we're just going to call it 00. MDA, we know 1,000 feet, 4 miles now from our stream in here. So that's our secondary. Our RadNav has been hard-tuned, what we need it to be hard-tuned on. Init B, we got to look at the loading now. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the display unit up there. All right, for cargo, we can take 1.5 tons. We're going to keep that set. Now, passenger loadout, I'm going to keep us at 89 passengers for our weight getting out of here. If we take a full load, we'll never get off the runway. So we need to block off some seats here so people can have the social distancing requirements. But 89 passengers are set. That looks good. As far as fuel goes, we're going to take, I think we can get away with 6.5 is what I planned. If I set 6.5, now we'll do this. We'll come here to perf data. Zero fuel weight CG 24.8. Zero fuel weight is 50.3. That's going to leave us with a gross weight of 56.8 tons. Now, I think that's going to be enough to get us out of here. Let me just do a quick conversion since we don't have pounds. 56.8 kg to pounds is 125,000. Yeah, we should be good with that. So, we've got a lot of extra gas. Hour and 17 minutes, but that's okay. We might need to burn that when we do our go-around. So, that should be good there. Perf data. We're going to take flight factor speeds. We're going to do a 120 V1. We're going to do a flaps 1 takeoff, full toga, and packs off. Now, the reason we're doing flaps 1 over flaps 2. Flaps 2, yes, will probably get you airborne a little bit quicker. You got a little bit more lift out there. But the problem is if we were, in real life anyway, to lose an engine, we have things called second segment climb numbers. And essentially, in order to climb out single engine and clear terrain, sometimes it's better to have flaps 1 as opposed to flaps 2 or 3, whatever your situation may pose. Now, that's all dependent on atmospheric conditions, the loading of the aircraft, type of aircraft, and all that stuff. But for us in the 320 NEO, we're going to be okay with flaps 1, full toga, and no packs. And I'll show you how we get a workaround on that. Transition altitude, I can't imagine it's only 6,000 feet here. Does anybody know top of hand what the transition altitude is? I think it's on the chart, isn't it? Trans altitude. Oh, it is 6,000. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's where it is. So it is 6,000. That looks set. Our box is pretty much set. Let's go ahead and start closing up doors. And we'll get the APU fired up. So we can remove the fuel truck. We'll close up those 3 doors, remove the baggage carts. Let's get the APU fired up. Before we do that, let's do our flow on the overhead. We'll simulate that we already did the fire test. Fuel pumps are coming online. Seatbelts on, auto, arm the emergency lights, prime that button right there. X-Plane 1972, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board, XP. X-Plane 1972 is our residential jar design 320 expert. So he's been he's been finding the jar design over there in the Vulcan side of things on X-Plane. I'll tell you what, that jar, I might have to fire it up at one point. The exterior modeling and the wing views don't look all that bad. I'm not gonna lie. All right, flap open, start it. We could probably get rid of these guys here. Start driving away. What overlay do I use? This overlay is from Sim Toolkit Pro, which I'm happy to say that Q8 Pilot has actually come back and has made some videos, and he actually just made one about Sim Toolkit Pro. So if you haven't already and you want to learn about Sim Toolkit Pro, Q8 Pilot definitely got some videos out there already. It's going to be my go-to add-on for overlays, syncing everything else. It pretty much does everything, and it's going to do a lot more. So, jarred, yeah, definitely. But the overlay is from Sim Toolkit Pro. Alright, so they are pulling away. APU is fired up. Let's go ahead and close that forward door. We no longer need you. We can go ahead and remove the chocks. We'll close that door. That'll get the announcements on. APU bleed can come online. It's probably warming up in the back. Haley's going to do her little announcement here. And we're going to be ready to run a checklist. We still have a cargo door open. What's up with that? Thank you for the subscribe, Richard. Appreciate it, man. Why do we have... Ah, we have that forward cargo door there. We'll go ahead and close that up. Listen to those hydraulic pumps. Let me get my checklist out here. You're not flying in real time? That is correct. We are doing an evening departure. I put a vote out for the commercial pilots on the community channel, and it was a tie. So I'm kind of taking matters into my own hands to break the tie. We're going to do a very late sunset arrival. It's almost going to be dark, but it's going to look absolutely stunning as long as we time it right. I just love these views. And the Matavia mod. Look at that shot right there with a wing. Goodness. Alright, we'll go ahead and hide the ground handling. We don't need those anymore. Brian Harris says it's great to have Q8 Pilot back. Dude, I totally agree, man. Ball for life. Am I a Cowboys fan? I root for them. But believe it or not, I'm a New York Jets fan. And it pains me to say that, dude. Especially the last couple of years. But I am a New York Jets fan. Alright, we got a normal checklist. Let's go ahead and run it. Before start checklist. Maintenance log and tail number on board and check. Cockpit prep has been completed. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs we're showing on and auto. ADIRS. And we are a navin. We can always check here. Do an IRS position monitor. GPS position monitor. Everything looks good if you really wanted to go through it. But that looks good. Fuel. This is a good one here. 6.5 required here at the ramp. 6.1 will be our takeoff requirement. Altimeters. We got 1025. Set once, set twice. Oop. One extra. And 3 times. 1025 is set. EFB checked. Windows, doors, and slides. Closed and armed. Beacon. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Close, beacon's on, thrust levers idle, parking brake is on for now. Before start, checklist complete. We're going to squawk 2,000 out of here. 2,000 is set. We'll put that into auto mode and in above. And we're ready to call Gerald McGinley to get us out of here. Oh, you know what? Do we even need a pushback? No, we're going to start up and we're going to do a taxi back to 19er. So we are good to start. Let's go ahead and crank them up. There's our bleed pressure, 38, 36 PSI. Starting engine number 1. Oh yeah. Tony Doc says he used ASXP. Yes. I moved to it, but recently found it goes through phases of killing my FPS. Yes, Tony Docs, I've had the same issue, man. Sometimes I run it, sometimes I just shut it off. I don't know what it is. Listen to these engines. Flight Surgeon says, oof, sorry V1 about the jets. Darnold seems like he could be, man. I'm more concerned with Adam Gase, the head coach. Just, I don't know if he deserves to be a head coach of a team right now. I don't know what his I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of him. All right, since we have to do a taxi back, what I would do in real life and what I'm going to do here is we're going to get everything done before we get on the runway, because I don't want to get on the runway and have to do checks and all that stuff and find out something is not right. So I'm going to go ahead and start everything up here at the ramp. PTU kicking over. Oh my goodness. Says I love the Vueling livery. Dimitri, what's the pronunciation? Is it Vueling? Vueling? Engine is pure eye candy. I agree, Tesla guy. It is pure eye candy, man. And the sounds are just Jump and Run says the IXCG team is making progress in big steps due to the current situation. So excited. That would be excited, man. Getting a nice 7.3 Classic update. All right, we got 2 good starts, it sounds like. There we go. We got an Avail on engine number 2. We'll go back to normal. That goes up. Flaps to 1. Wow. That's just stunning, man. Absolutely stunning. All right, what do we got here for time? (1754Z). That ain't gonna cut it, my friends. We're gonna need to bump you forward by about 10 minutes. 1804. (1808 Zulu). Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and do our flight control check here at the gate while we're waiting. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. That looks good. All right, after start, engine and ice is off, yellow electric pump is off, rudder trim 0, F-start checklist complete. Now, the APU and PAX, we're going to have a little discussion about a max performance takeoff out of here. A lot of you guys reference a couple of videos on YouTube about saying, hey, why do they take off with the PAX off? The reason is maximum performance from the airplane will come when the engine is not putting any of its output to anything other than thrust. Now, it takes air to run the air conditioning system or the pneumatic air cycle kits. That air comes from our engine bleeds. So by shutting the PAX off, we're essentially cutting off part of engine performance, and we're going to get maximum performance. So you could go PAX off and take off and have maximum performance. Or what my operator does is we leave the APU bleed on. And the reason we leave the APU bleed on is when the APU bleed is on and both engines are running, the APU bleed will take precedence over the pneumatic air cycle kits. So I don't know if that's modeled in X-Plane, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're actually going to shut the PAX off, and then we're going to reconfigure with the clean wing. But in real life, I think it's even better to take off with the APU on, because if you take off with the APU on, you still have both your PAX running. Passengers are going to be comfortable. Everything's going to be comfortable in the back when you're doing a max performance takeoff. But I don't know if that's going to be simulated and we're going to get the additional performance. So I am going to just go ahead and shut the APU off And this may be a procedure in Europe, especially because I've noticed on a lot of airport charts, they say that you can't have the APU on longer than it is to just start your engines. So that could be a reason why you see a lot of these European carriers taking off with the packs off instead of the APU method, because of the APU requirement of the airport and the environmental stuff. So we're going to go ahead and turn the packs. We're going to turn the packs off before we take off. We're not going to do it now because everyone will start it be uncomfortable. But everything else is good. Back going to the taxi position. Brakes released. Are you guys ready to get out of here? Wow, is that loud enough for you guys? It's pretty loud. I'm going to have to turn that down. And as the Spanish would say it, it's viewing. Viewing? All right. You thought the procedure went full up? No, man. Well, I always do elevator first, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and then you would do the rudders. I always do the elevator first. It's just the way we're taught. I don't know if that's how it's written specifically or not, but that's how I've always done it. As we enter the runway here, let's go ahead and get our lights on. We got a taxi back all the way to runway 19er. We're going to take it off a little bit of tailwind there. You can see that windsock. Those Neo sounds, man. James, let's do it, Captain. Ain't sweating yet. All right, man. Well, when we light up on the end of the runway, I mean, could you imagine taking off this direction? That would be one heck of a tight turn. I don't know. I mean, I guess you're going to have special single-engine escape patterns that would be published per your company to get out of here. I can only imagine. I mean, we've got them for airports that aren't extreme as this, and we've got them for my carrier. That's kind of a cool shot there. What is the accumulator pressure check? Accumulator pressure down here for our braking system. Make sure that's in the green. And you also want to do a brake check. So what I said, brake check pressure normal. That's after start, you manually step on the brake pedals and you want to see the left and right brakes stay zero. That's why the call out is pressure 0, because that means you're on normal braking. We're going to take it all the way down full length. Let's go ahead and take a look at the airport here, procedure-wise. I already have that chart up. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the airport special regulations. IFR blah blah blah. Yeah, we know we were definitely not legal on all of that. Doesn't have any departure. Oh, departure. Any aircraft departing must comply with the requirements of aircraft certification, as well as the relevant procedure published on the SID charts. Certain visibility, type rating, and certain weather conditions to make this approach work. So there's a lot of stuff that I am not qualified for or typed for to do this in real life. So please do not attempt this at home, or do attempt this at home. Do not attempt it at real life. Consult your company handbook, definitely. We're going to try to use up all the available runway here. I probably should have went the other way. Wow, that was a terrible lineup. I should have went right and come back around. We're a little off center line, but hey, we're going to take it. So let's go ahead and run our checks here. So takeoff config check. Auto brakes max. That goes on. That goes to auto. We go TARA there, and we're going to put terrain on the ND. We have our DME down here, 0.1 from the localizer, so we can reference that if need be. Cabin ready, so we kind of come over here. Flight attendant panel, cabin ready. Also, we're going to do the cabin lighting. Dim, dim, dim. Extra juiciness. Check out this cabin lighting. It's not quite juicy yet. We'll see it here in a little bit. That is already set. And it looks like I missed the takeoff config. There it is. Takeoff config normal. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim. Ooh, always forget the pitch trim on this thing. 0.8. So, right about there. Man, I keep bumping my yoke that's in front of me. Pitch trim is 0.8% CG set, V1, VR, V2 flex. 120, 127, 131, no flex. Flaps, config, 1 plus F, which is noted here, 1 plus F. Flight controls check, ECAM memo, takeoff all green, ECAM status check, PWS is on, TCAS code set, TRI, cabin crew advised, mini brief is complete. Takeoff runway, confirmed 19er. Fuel, 6-1, required 6-3 on board. Engine mode selector is normal. Bleeds and packs are set. Before takeoff, checklist complete. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the ND set up there for you. Nose forward on the 6, stick. Hold those brakes up to 50%. Now, this in real life, if you go 50% on the brakes and let go, it is a jolt. You don't really want to do it unless you have to. Release the brakes. Here we go. Toga SRS auto thrust blue. Man, those engines are ripping. Eight knots thrust set, and we're off center line, neutral by 100. Here comes V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. And away we go. Whew. Absolutely stunning. At above 4,100 feet for that first fix. We're pitching to the command bars. I don't know what that speed is, all the way down to 130. There we go. There comes our lever climb. I'm going to hang off on that until we get a nice positive trend in airspeed. Thrust climb, auto thrust. There's our S speed. Let's go flap 0. Once we get a clean wing, we're going to get the packs back online. Flaps are 0. Pack 1. Pack 2. Slight left turn here. Let's go AP1 so I can look around. Whew, baby. Them Pratt & Whitneys, though. We are ripping out of here. All right, how's our DME distance? We need to come back to our departure chart. We are 6.4. So we need to be a foot. Oh yeah, we're crushing it. There's transition, standard set, and we are crushing it, guys. No match for the Airbus. Chrono, Gerald, I got it. Got to get that chrono in there. We got it. We are chrono in now. Can I do a 320 NEO tutorial? Cartage Wall actually has one out, man. Let's do another flyby shot. Gosh. Wow, look at that shot over the wing right there. Man. that's just a moment of silence for that beauty right there. I think we're well above 10. It's time to clean up the airplane. Let's do it. There's 10.3. I didn't even turn my lights on for departure. I was too excited about getting out of here. I forgot to turn on my... well, at least the strobes weren't auto, so they would have turned on automatically, but I forgot to turn on the turn-off lights and the wing light, which I think in... I don't know, somebody was saying in Europe that the wing light is not even used unless you have to. But in the States, we use the wing light all the time. Very similar to the landing lights, 10,000 feet, it comes on. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're speeding up. We're cleaning up. Everything looks good. Steve Ramsey, thank you so much, man. He comes over with a £2 donation. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Really appreciate it, man. Glad you're enjoying the content here. He says, nicely done. We're out of here. Well, I forgot the lights, so there's that. But hey, we are out of 10, so let's also do... We got this runway ILS or LS mismatch. Rad nav, that's because 10,000 feet. We clear, and then copy. So secondary, copy active. I now have got my active flight plan copied in the secondary. And the rad nav is clear to auto-tune whenever it feels like it is necessary to auto-tune. How are we looking for progress? We're going to put LEBL 25 left in here just so we have a 393 miles. Perfect. We're looking at a 303 indicated. Transitioning to 7.8 Mach at 55 cost index. That's totally good. What's our cruise Mach going to be? It's going to be 7.8 Mach, so that's good. I'm happy with those numbers. And, of course, we want to check our fuel. We got 2.2 extra. And really, if I wanted to do 1.5, will it let me? Yeah, it does. Okay, so I can change. So we only have about 57 minutes extra. Final time. Min destination, 0.4. No alternate. Perfect. Issa, I have to go eat after fasting today. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. Gaming Ninja says, I gotta go to sleep. Good night, dude. Take it easy, man. Swarm says, forgot the lights. Bourbon made me do it. Heck yeah, man. I'm actually on the... I've got a little bit of beer this afternoon. Just because I have some tasks that need to be accomplished at the end of the stream, and I need to be still functioning. Man, I wish I could just back off that window a little bit, but then we're in the seat. I need to like customize the cabin here so we don't have seats, or we can take one seat out, but the sun kind of reflecting off that plexiglass. I kind of like that. But I mean, this view right here, clean over the wing, that looks awesome. Does your operator tell you specific cost index to use? Yes, so your cost index will be indicated on your flight plan page, and sometimes they'll give you a note saying, hey, we gave you, we know you're about 10 minutes late, we gave you fuel for cost index 99, so let it rip. Or, you know, really struggling to save fuel, so make sure you maintain cost index of whatever. Now, sometimes en route, you'll even get an ACARS. Let's say the winds are a little bit different than planned, and maybe you're scheduled to arrive significantly early, 20, 30 minutes ahead of your scheduled arrival time. That case, probably going to get an ACARS saying, an automated ACARS saying, hey, your arrival time exceeds 30 minutes early or something. Please slow to cost index 0, and then you'd adjust it from there. Sim Pilot says, I don't see the point of having wing lights on if you aren't looking at the wings or for ice buildup, damage, etc. It actually is, it makes the airplane significantly more visible, especially at night. Because you're not only just turning on a light bulb, you're illuminating your engines and the leading edge of your wing. And for spotting traffic, it just makes you extremely more visible to other airplanes. And matter of fact, at night, if I'm flying and someone says, hey, traffic 12 o'clock, or let's say you have converging traffic, right? ATC will come on and say, hey, fueling 553 or 533, you got traffic westbound 12 o'clock at 1,000 feet above. Now, for at nighttime, what I'll do is say, Roger, looking for the traffic, and I'll even come into I'll go up here and I'll turn the wing light on. That way, he can look for me if he can't see me, and then we kind of acknowledge each other with the wing lights. Because in the Airbus, unlike the Boeing, if you pop these bad boys out in cruise doing 7.8 Mach, it is loud. So you don't want to pop your landing lights out. but I'll just flick the wing lights on real quick because they're seated in the nacelle, or not the nacelle, excuse me, in the wing root area. Wow, that's loud. Let's go ahead and turn that situation down before we go out there. Hang on. Where's my volume mixer at here? There we go.
Donation.
Tony Docks Station. Let me get outside here real quick. I'm going to read that. Coming in with a $6 bomb, man. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and minimize this audio here so we can go outside and not be blinded. Let's go ahead and turn you way down. Hopefully that's hope that's better. Tony Dock Station, man, coming in with a $6 bomb, dude. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. He says, loving the more regular videos. Shame it is under these circumstances, but I'm learning so much. Thank you and best wishes for your future in aviation. Tony Dock Station, man, thank you so much for your support on the channel, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the little bit more regular content. I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive, keep you guys entertained here and do some teaching. But yeah, it's a shame under these circumstances, but you know what, even when work picks back up, and I know it will, I'm really going to try to maintain some level of consistency because I really do enjoy making these videos for you guys, and I enjoy being part of this community. So really appreciate it, Tony Docks. Thank you, man. Donald says, that's why you don't drink and fly, you forget stuff. Absolutely, man. You definitely don't want to be drinking and flying. No good. Flying Guitarist says, that was such a cool takeoff to watch. I bet max performance takeoff is a powerful feeling. Oh, yeah. I remember one time we were recoing a NEO, so it was completely empty. And, of course, the performance numbers come back, you know, flaps 1, flex, like, 66 or whatever it is in the NEO, like the max flex number. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But it's high. It's a high flex. So basically, you have no load, very little fuel, and they want you to do, you know, all these conservative numbers. I said, hey, you know what? Let's see what this performance is like. Man, you could almost go damn near straight up when the Airbus, when it is empty. It is a beast of an airplane. And a lot of airplanes are like that, you know, when they're empty. But it is something fun to do. But yeah, even when you're loaded, you do some shorter runways. Coming out of San Diego can be a challenge if you're really loaded down. You're going to get really high performance numbers, or I should say low flex numbers. Something you're probably going to get Toga if you're really loaded, and it's a blast coming out of Burbank. It's a blast coming out of Burbank because that's always, you know, Toga takeoff, packs off most of the time. So it is a blast to fly, man. The Embraer 190, believe it or not, is actually a little beast of an airplane itself. I distinctively remember being in the Embraer 190 and that plane being very significantly powered compared to its smaller counterpart, the 175. I felt the 175 was a little bit, it was fine. It wasn't underpowered, but it was just kind of there, where the 190 definitely had significant engine thrust to be considered a powerful airplane, in my opinion. Erwin says, I love these live streams. Any chance we get a VATSIM flight soon? Dude, I was going to do VATSIM today, believe it or not. I had the flight plan filed. I actually connected. Xpilot was on, and I was ready to do it. And then I'm looking around, and I don't know the centers. I don't know which center you're supposed to be calling to get your clearance and all that stuff. And I don't know the identifier. Like, so I'm looking at the center. I don't know what center to call. And instead of just being a pain in their side, I'll be doing more VATSIM when we get back to the States, and I'm more familiar with, you know, what center to call and what the name of the center is. But I just don't want to be a pain in VATSIM side right now. But maybe on the next one coming out of Barcelona. And it's hard on these streams too, because I want to do certain approaches and certain routes for, one, so you guys can see something really cool, and two, for, you know, educational purposes. Like, I want to do circle to lands, and I want to make it interesting, and let's land with the max tailwind component. So if you're going into these airports on a network and other people are trying to enjoy their flight, I don't want to be the guy ruining their fun. So, but definitely going to be doing some some VATSIM stuff, and definitely some more Pilot Edge when we get back to the States. I do like the ATC thing, and a lot of you guys always ask about ATC tutorials and stuff, and I really am going to try to hammer that a little bit more with you guys when we get back into my native homeland. Flight Surgeon says, V1 went to a FedEx simulator near Memphis Airport. They told me they regularly climb those planes about 5,000 feet per minute. Man, that is moving, dude. Definitely. That is moving. For the 7.5-200. Oh, yeah, the 7.5, dude. 7.5 is a beast. It's just a beast, man. Straight up a beast. John says, may I ask why you use YouTube and not Twitch? I've had a little bit of Twitch a long time ago. I was kind of dabbling with Twitch. The user interface, man, turned me away from Twitch. It's just way too confusing. I don't like the layout of it. It didn't feel good to me. YouTube seemed like a better place, especially if I want to be uploading edited videos for you guys, like this corporate jet series and the professional series and all that stuff. I just think YouTube was a little bit of a better platform for that. So to have everything at one spot, nothing against Twitch or anything, it just seemed to flow a little bit better. Sim says, that's why you have us backseat pilots, so watch your back. Oh, definitely, man. You guys keep me on my game. Definitely. Micah says, you'll enjoy it, V1. Fantastic, and you learn a ton. What's that? What did I miss? What will I enjoy? Oh, didn't send you a notification? You may have answered this on stream, but is the NEO mod worth it? I mean, if you're okay with editing files and stuff, if you're pretty tech savvy, it's not that difficult to do. The only thing is it's very, very tedious, and it's very possible to miss something small and be like, hey, why is my NEO mod not working? I did everything right. When the fact of the matter is you did something wrong. Trust me, I did it a dozen times, and I still would miss a coordinate here or miss a digit somewhere, and it would all be screwed up. So if you're confident in editing your files and stuff, I mean, it's fun. I don't know if we're ever going to get a NEO mod from FlightFactor. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know if we'll ever get official Shark Blitz. So if we didn't have the sound pack, I would say no. But because we have a dedicated NEO sound pack that is compatible with the BSS sound pack, I think it's definitely worth it. Jabino says, I caught your first BizJet episode. I'm looking forward to more. Excellent, man. Should be dropping on Monday. When will I be back in the States? That's a good question, Chuck. I think we're going to wrap up. We're going to go down to Spain here a little bit, and then we're probably going to do a little circle back. I might try to do a circle to land in Lugano, just because that looks like it might be one of the most challenging approaches yet, especially since it wouldn't be legal. It would not be legal to do it at all. I think we might have to do that, and then we have to maybe Lowy again. Do you guys want to see Lowy again? I really enjoyed Lowy, but if you don't want to, we don't have to go back to Lowy. I'll probably put this out to vote, and we'll kind of make our way back around, and then we're going to leave probably out of Heathrow, would be my guess, back to the States. But I'm so happy, guys. We're at almost 9,000 subs. We may hit 10K subs before returning back to the U.S. So if you haven't, hit that sub button for me, because that would be a sweet goal to reach. You know, come over here. I think we came over here on the 7,000 sub special for a 7-hour stream, and then we leave the Euro Tour as a 10,000 sub community. I think that'd be awesome. Do I use a joystick? Yes, I use the Thrustmaster Warthog joystick for my Airbus flying, but I also have the honeycomb yoke for conventional aircraft. Oh, Micah, you were pulling a 737. I gotcha. It's your first time watching 7.3. Well, welcome to the channel, man. I'm glad to have you on board. I hope you enjoyed the content, but definitely going to be a nice little arrival into Barcelona. I'm super excited from it. Selb says, I love Lowy. I love it too, man. John, sorry for questions. First time here. Dude, John, not a problem, man. Questions are what this channel is for, man. I want you guys to ask questions. I want you to ask Airbus questions. I want you to get knowledge from from this channel and from these streams, especially when we're in the Airbus, because I know a lot of times, we fly different, I'll fly a different airplane, and there's not too much knowledge to be had from that, because of course I'm going to try to give you the knowledge of certain systems that I'm familiar with, but it's not like being in the Airbus. So that's what I love about this channel. One of you guys will ask a question about the Airbus, and then that just kind of opens the gateway for me to start talking about systems and start getting that information out there. So questions are definitely welcomed here, man. I'm sorry I don't see every chat message. I try to read them all, but I do miss them. I do miss quite a few. Andy says, hi V1, first time seeing you on stream as well. You came from Flight Deck to Sim, epic. Oh, that reminds me, Andy. Yes, so Flight Deck to Sim, man, he's definitely one of the most epic X-Plane streamers out there. He's been doing this longer than I have too, but I mean, very comparable. I mean, he's a real-world 7.3 pilot, and I mean, he's pretty phenomenal in his content that he creates. So, doing kind of the same thing over here. He's got a whole slew of tutorials from way back in the day on the 737 PMDG, which, yeah, he's been around a lot longer, but he's definitely a legend in the YouTube community. And speaking of, it's kind of fun. I don't know if he feels the same way, but I kind of feel like it's a fun little challenge. So he landed into London City in the A319 and totally buttered it, like 98 feet per minute or something. So when when we did the 7K stream, I eventually came over to landed in London City, and I think we buttered it. I don't remember if we buttered. I think we buttered it. Did we butter it? I don't remember. But it definitely wasn't better than Flight Deck to Sim. So I crowned him the king of London City. And up until today, I was pretty impressed with our Calvi approach in the 727 circle to land. Being able to do that approach is one thing, but being able to do it right and be stable and be configured and be within limits is extremely challenging. And I was feeling pretty good about my 727 approach. I think I was pretty much in there with watching descent rates, and we didn't trip any jip whiz alerts or anything like that. I got a butter, I think it was like 120 or something. Mr. Flight Deck to Sim goes in there and totally crushes it, man. Total butter. I think it was 98. So now he has set the bar yet again in Calvi. So we may have to do a pit stop in Calvi. This time I'll have to take my Airbus in there because he did go in there on his own airplane. So I went in there on the 7.2, but I think it's kind of a fun little challenge to see each other go in there in these airplanes. But definitely, man. Glad to have you here. Welcome aboard the channel, man. Christian says, I know that the U.S. you required to have 1,500 hours before being an airline pilot. Correct. How long did it take you to get them? Quite a few. And so what? It really depends on. Used to depend on the economy too. So when I was becoming or trying to get to, commercial piloting, I actually was flying corporate stuff around. And then I went to a freight company, and started flying freight to build the most of my time. And my original plan was to get back into corporate after flying cargo. I was just trying to build all that PIC time. Now, I already had 1,500 hours at the time, but for corporate, you need... Sometimes I think it's called Wyvern and Argus. It's basically an insurance company, and your pilots have to have so many hours of experience as a captain to be able to be qualified under that Wyvern and Argus insurance policy. So I was flying freight to build that captain time in turboprops so I could go back to corporate. But then my life, I kind of was on a different plan, and then I ended up going the airline route. But yes, you do have to have 1,500 hours. Most guys, what they do is flight instruct. So I was very fortunate. I was a flight instructor. And then at the same time that I was a flight instructor, I also got introduced to flying corporate jets and biz jets around. Hence the Corporate Pilot Professional series that's coming out now. So, and then I kind of ran with that corporate pilot stuff for a while. I was flying Part 91. But what I wanted to do is be a Part 135 or a fractional carrier, something like NetJets or FlexJet, something like that. And that's where you needed those high time requirements. And I just wasn't getting it flying Part 91 because I think I flew maybe 500 hours a year max, probably less than that, probably like 250 hours a year. Flying Part 91 is very minimal. But yes, most guys will instruct up to 1,500 hours and then go from there. Or banner towing. Banner towing is an option. There's a couple other ones. Skydivers, flying skydivers was popular. How about the go-around trip? How about a GA trip to Churchville? Maybe with the King Air TVM. You know what? Then I think that's a good idea too. I would like to do some GA stuff before we leave Europe. Definitely. I know I did it on the UK when we were in the UK. I took the King Air out. I think that was a lot of fun. But Andy says, "Trust me, he didn't butter it on his practice flight." No worries, man. You should definitely try the Gatwick Challenge, V1. Liam, what's the Gatwick Challenge? Let me know. I'm interested. You've piqued my interest. Pablo says, do you ever get nervous in the flight deck? How do you manage your emotions when flying? So, I don't want to say no, I've never been nervous, because that would be a lie. I'm sure I've been nervous at certain times, but immediately I think back to a certain time, and I'm actually saving this for a cockpit confessional on my podcast series, which comes out every month for my members. But there was this time where I was flying freight that I got very nervous. And it was kind of a pivotal moment in my career for me personally that I realized a lot of things. And I don't want to give too much away because it's going to be in the podcast under the cockpit confessional part. So I'm saving that for there. But I have been nervous. I was definitely nervous. I had a wind shear in an Embraer 170. I had a wind shear coming out of, I think it was Indianapolis. Yeah, it was Indy. And that was definitely nerve-wracking for sure. But the thing about being a pilot is, man, you really need to. I'm going to go ahead and turn the seatbelt signs off here while we're up in cruise. Everything seems to be nice and smooth. How are we looking on distance? 263. We've got a little bit of time left before we start planning our descent. Perfect. So, being nervous, you have to, and I would teach this too, which is ironic because, I mean, you're never going to be able to get rid of your nerves. But what you need to be able to do is manage them. And being able to manage your nerves and have them be a driving force to your focus is something good. So what I would always tell people to do, and what I try to do myself, is like, look, if I think I'm going to be nervous, one, why am I nervous? This should be a sign that something's not right. Is it sketchy? Do I need to, is that, at that point you have to realize, hey, step back from the situation. Why do I feel this way? And I got to look at it from, especially as a captain, you really have to look at it from a different perspective, and really keeping safety is your number one priority. So why do I feel nervous? That should be a red flag right there. Okay, let's go ahead and reassess the situation. Two, you want to be able to try to use those nerves to kind of make yourself laser focused, if that makes sense. Blue Collar Pilot, thank you for becoming a member, man. Welcome to the channel. Exclamation point, welcome. For more information on perks. But thank you, Blue Collar, for sponsoring and joining the channel, man. So yeah, using your nerves or fear to drive focus and attention to the task at hand is kind of how I do it myself and how I would teach students. I get private pilots all the time that maybe we're really scared of turbulence or we're scared of certain weather phenomenons. And to a certain level, fear is a good thing, because a little bit of fear anyway is a good thing, because it lets you know that, hey, you need to be, it should keep you awake, right? It means, hey, you need to be focused here. It's the opposite of being complacent, where I think complacency can lead to very serious situations, sometimes probably more so than being nervous or fearful about something, because complacency, you just think everything's fine, you don't think twice about anything, and that's when mistakes happen, and that's when bad things can happen and lives can be lost. So there's a healthy balance there, but I try to use those emotions as tools to drive my focus and attention to the task at hand. Dougal says, check the very end of the last one. Check very end of last but one flight deck to Sim Gatwick Challenge. I'll take a look, Dougal. What are your stream settings? My net connection is 200 megabytes, but the top of the stream window is blurry. Let's see. The top of the stream on the status bar. I think I got a gig up and down, so I don't know if it's my end or might just be YouTube kind of throttling. Is the Flight Factor A320 still overpowered? I do not think so, man. I haven't done a performance test in a while, but the last one I did, it seemed to be pretty on par. Have I ever flown to Bermuda? Seems like a fun place to fly to. I've never been to Bermuda, man, but that's a good suggestion, OT. Appreciate it, man. ILTech says, where should I enter the final course of the runway? There are 2 courses in the RadNav page. ILTech, in the Airbus, it is automatically tuned for you. So this airplane will actually do it properly, unlike the TOLUS 19. I don't know if they fixed it in the 321, but if I go to LS here, yes. So if I go to LS, has it already tuned the approach? I think it has, 111.5. The final approach course will be auto-tuned. You can see here it's 250, the Maltese Cross. Now that's because 245, I should say, is active here, or you can see it. Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to select heading mode real quick, and I'm going to turn left, and watch what happens. Whoa, sorry about that. When this final approach course gets off of our current compass heading here, it's going to pop up in a little box. So you should be able to see the course and verify that it has auto-tuned properly. It is something you check on your approach briefing, but you do not have to manually input an ILS course, or a localizer course for that matter. As long as it's in the box and you load the approach, it will automatically do it. So right there, you see, that's our final approach course, 245, and you would verify that with the approach chart. And I haven't hard-tuned anything yet. This is just auto-tuning from the arrival that I selected. So now we can just go ahead, we'll redirect us. Let's go back direct to Padco, insert, and we are in nav mode. We are back on track here. Let's do a little flyby. I know the volume's down, but oh yeah. Let's go outside for a little bit, shall we? Alex Friedman says, hey V1, I love your streams. Any tips for a student pilot dealing with air sickness? Whew, man, that's a tough one. I had a student that would be very airsick, and matter of fact, the hardest part for him was the instrument training, having to be under the hood, but he got through it. So I haven't personally had to deal with air sickness, but I wish I had a better answer for you. But I will tell you this, maybe take this. That same student is now a commercial airline pilot and also flies in the Air National Guard. So he was able to overcome his air sickness. Unfortunately, I don't really have any good methods to help you with air sickness other than, especially if you're going for PPL right now, look outside. Like, look at big objects outside. Look at a mountain and kind of ground yourself seeing the big picture, a very large mountain or the horizon line. If you get stuck looking inside of the cockpit, sometimes that can trigger the motion sickness. But if you focus outside on larger objects, sometimes that can help. And I wish I had more tips for you, but personally, never really having to deal with that issue, I don't really have a good answer for you other than to stay positive, because I know it is possible to overcome it. But try looking outside more. I would suggest that if you can. Strix says, watching videos of planes landing in high winds and storms is incredible. Must get the focus. Yeah. So, Strix, definitely, man. And I talked about this, I think, was it last stream? My very first 321 landing in real life in Minneapolis. The wind was blowing at 38 knots, direct crosswind. And I had barely 100 hours in the airplane. Yeah. High wind conditions or poor weather conditions in general will definitely heighten the attention of the flight crew, because there are no, unlike X-Plane, there are no resets, there are no sim, no pause and redo. It's the airplane is moving, it's moving through the air very fast, and you need to be ahead of it. And when that weather starts to become a factor, you really need to plan, okay, we're going to shoot this approach. We got thunderstorms completely blocking the northern half of the airfield. The missed approach goes to the north. So if we have to go missed, I want to, ask ATC, hey, can we go southbound because of the weather? Things like that, just thinking ahead. And that would be a thought that would come through my mind before we even join the approach. So definitely poor weather or adverse weather conditions will heighten the attention of the flight crew. if you want to do the real procedure into Barcelona, you're looking at the Bisma 1 Whiskey. That's what I have loaded up, correct? Yeah, Bisma 1. And the Lesba transition for 25 right. That's the one that takes us way out over the water, right? I don't want to go all the way over the water, though. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pull up the... Because we got to do some cinematic purposes here, right? We got to go right along the coastline at night. It's beautiful. So here... Oh, that's Lugano. We got the wrong airport. Barcelona. Arrival, we're doing the... Yeah, Lesba takes you way out here. We don't want to do that one. We want to do the... is it the 1 Zulu that I loaded up? Yeah, the 1 Zulu to Charlie Lima Echo, and then we're going to load up the approach. Oops. ILS Zulu 25 left from here, from CLE. We're just going to transition over and join the LOC. Yannick says, COVID-19 halted my flight training. That's sorry, man. A couple of you guys are in that same boat. It really sucks. I wish there was some good news or something about all that, but right now it's pretty much status quo. All right, we're 190 miles. We'll go ahead and start doing a little prep here. Let's go ahead and pull up the ILS Zulu 25 left. Pull up our RadNav page, 111.5. That looks good. BLW. It already has it tuned in there, 245. You see that? So you verified that. Progress page, GPS primary nav actually is high. That still looks good. Descent 78329. That's fine with me. Current weather situation in Barcelona. Let me do a refresh here. Let's see what we got. Barcelona's conditions are 1025 on the QNH. Temperature 14. Wind 120 at 3, so a little bit of a crosswind there, not much. 120 at 3, almost a tailwind actually, quartering tailwind. MDA for us coming in straight in will be, we're going to be Cat C, will be 208. 2 feet difference, so not a big deal. 208 set, go around speeds. All right, so do you guys want to see a full-blown go-around, like a low-altitude go-around, where what we can do is, I'll take it all the way down. Thank you for the subscribe there, some bloke. What I can do, I'll leave it up to you guys. Let me know. Do you want to, A, do a low, almost a bulked landing go-around? Pretty much, you know, I'll try to do a go-around maybe at 50 feet or something. So we may contact the runway. It may be pretty hard, but that's just part of the deal when you do a low go-around. Or we can do kind of a soft go-around, which I don't know. I think that's we did that in the last stream. We kind of just cleaned up the airplane, positive rate, cleaned it up, used the MCP, steer the airplane around. So, what do you guys think? You want to see a go-around, or should we just put a straight in? You let me know. If we do a go-around, we'll probably have to land completely in the dark, but that's fine. That's cool as we go out over the water. Nice. Airbus does it in real life also? Yes, ILTech, yeah, auto-tune, just like the Flight Factor does. What's the most dramatic situation I've been in? Probably one that I discussed on my podcast, man. So you'd have to listen to the podcast. But the wind shear was pretty scary. I've had a couple close calls, like flying freight with the guard tower or like guide wires. But those are all podcasts. Those are all exclusive member perks. So don't want to give too many of them away. But I probably would say the wind shear, I had a pretty nasty wind shear that will probably stay in my mind for the rest of my life. I mean, it's been years since it's happened to me, but I still remember it when I think about it, especially when I talk about it. That's why I like doing these podcasts for you guys because it forces me to jog my own memory and really think back. And then I start recording the podcast. I'm like, wait a second, no, now I remember. And I start remembering more details as I talk about it. And it's really cool. And it's something that I'm going to enjoy. And I think maybe my daughter will enjoy too when she grows up and she can listen to them herself. But yeah, man, it's all podcast. A go around at 50 feet RA. All right. Go around, a basic touch and go. We're going to do it. We'll do a basic slam and go. So the reason for low altitude go around like this could be anything. It could be, a vehicle runs out on the runway or an aircraft misses a taxiway hold line or something like that, and they taxi on the runway, a runway incursion, got to go around. Excuse me. So also, in a Cat 3 approach, there is a possibility that if you're not instructed to go around, but there's a possibility that you won't get a flare command here on your FMA. If you don't get a flare, you got to go around, and it is, you will smash. I mean, we do it in the sim all the time. We train for a Cat 3 go around at 30 feet, I think is the RA, and at that height, it doesn't matter. You're gonna smash, and it's just you have to be prepared for it. That's why you don't change configuration until you're climbing away from the ground. I'm trying to think if I've had any go-arounds in real life where I've hit the ground. I don't think so. I had a pretty low go-around in Chicago one time, but we never ended up contacting the runway. I think there was one. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I want to say I had one in Boston, but I don't remember. If I did, it wasn't memorable. It wasn't a memorable experience. But in the sim, we trained for all the time, and that sim will jolt you when you hit the runway that hard. So luckily, I've never been experienced or had the experience of doing it in real life, but. What we'll do is we'll set up for a go-around. So let's brief quickly here. We'll do manual brakes because we're going to be doing a go-around and all that stuff. The driver says like the hard way, so A. All right. So what we'll do is I'll just say, okay, Julian 533, go around. And the procedure for go around the Airbus is there's a couple call-outs. There's call-outs and procedures that happen at the same time. So the call-outs between the flight crew members will trigger actions by the crew members too. So somebody says go around. Let's just say I'm flying and the first officer says go around or the tower controller says go around. Say, all right, so go around, flaps. So at that point, it's so that triggers the go around actions, right? So at that point, it's going to be toga thrust, pitch for the flight directors, because as soon as you go toga thrust, your FMA is going to go into go around mode. It's going to say go around, and your flight directors are going to pitch for climb out, pitch for go around. So you're going to follow the flight directors, toga thrust. The next call out, and it's a very important call out, and I see it missed in the sim all the time, and when you miss this call out, it can really screw things up. The next call out is positive rate, and that's going to be from the pilot monitoring. That cues the gear up command from the pilot flying, and then the positive pilot monitoring will go gear up. So again, it's going to be go around flaps. At that point, toga thrust, pitch to the flight directors. Flaps are going to be retracted one step. So we're going to be coming in flaps full. He's going to bring it to flaps 3. At that point, I'm climbing away. First officer would say positive rate. I would say go around. Or up, go around. I would say, I'm going to just clear these out here. I hate having those messages on that first officer McDo. He'd say positive rate. I'd say gear up. So then he would retract the gear, and at that point, you're kind of at a normal takeoff. You're gear up, you're climbing away. The only thing different from a real takeoff at that point is you're not going to retract your flaps incrementally. So we're going to go from full to 3, and then we're going to go flaps 1. We're going to skip number 2. We're going to go straight to flaps 1. And then we're going to retract flaps 1 on speed, and then we'll cycle back around. I'll just vector myself with the heading bug, and then we'll do a full-on visual landing back on with the autopilot off. We'll take the auto thrust off. We'll do a full visual landing on the second attempt. So that's how the go-around sequence goes. It always works fine in planning when we talk about it, but in real life, it's we call it an asses and elbows procedure because it happens so fast, and it probably is going to happen at a point where you're not thinking about it. And that's when it's just like, go around flaps. And meanwhile, the pilot flying is climbing out at 5,000 feet a minute. And the guy over here is trying to remember if is it 1 step on the flaps or do I do 2 steps on the flaps? Freaking gear is hanging out. The airplane's just barreling through the sky, climbing out. So it's always kind of a cluster. But we try to do it. We try to stay as much SOP as possible, but it just happens that way. You get caught off guard. Would you be interested in doing a landing with a stuck gear, Antolos? What do you mean stuck gear? Can you simulate stuck gear, Swarm? I'd be interested in that. Tango Delta says Flight Factor does not work with the Vulcan as of right now. I am aware of that, and that's kind of the reason I'm not doing the Vulcan update. I see it, man, the Vulcan performance, I'm very curious to see what will happen on my system, but I would love to update, but I'm not going to do the beta, man. There's just too much stuff on stable right now that I'm happy with. My sim is very stable. I don't want to risk having a bunch of issues. Oh man, I don't know where to put this camera view. Ooh, actually, with the sun and the beacon light flashing there over the water looks good. ASP says, hello, new to your channel. Greetings from the DFW Aero. ASP, man. Fantastic, dude. We're neighbors. Dougal. See you in a few minutes, man. Flexen says, what are other ways that the ignition can be used in the 320? I know some checklists say ignition as required. Probably for heavy rain, we would, you could do the ignitions. Now in the NEO, gosh, I haven't flown. I'm gonna have to remember. I'm gonna set 10,000 feet here though, so we don't get high on profile. What's our TOD? Let me get back to that question, man. Hold on. Oh yeah, TOD. There's 5 miles. Let's go ahead and mash it forward as we start down. Let me get the sounds cranked back up here. Sounds are back up. Flyby shot in the descent. Oh yeah. So what was that? What was I saying? Oh, the ignition. Right. So I want to say it's the NEO will not turn on the ignition for you when you extend flaps. So on approach, if you're in very heavy, I'm talking torrential rain, turbulence, sometimes what I'll do is I will manually put the ignition switch into ignition to get the igniters firing. Now, the Airbus, depending on the load of the aircraft, will automatically start the ignitions when you extend flaps. Now, I want to say it's the NEO that does not turn the ignition on when you go flaps 1. But I could be wrong. I'd have to look at my book. It's been so long. I know there's one model of the Airbus that we have, at least on our fleet, that will not turn the ignition on when you go flaps 1. But that would be a reason to have the ignition on. Also for dry motoring, maybe on the ground, you move it into the crank position because you had a start fault, something like that. But really the ignition sequence, or also for cross-feeding. So if I want to cross-feed, how's our fuel look here? We're probably pretty balanced. Oh yeah, 12, 60, 13, 10. So what we'll do a quick cross-feed here. So I'm going to go ignition on, and we're going to turn the low side pumps off. But we want to turn the cross-feed valve open, left tank pumps off. And now we're going to essentially cross-feed, and we're not really moving fuel from tank to tank. What we're doing is taking fuel from this tank, sending it to the engine. It's being sent to a return line because it's also still taking fuel from this pump. So it's going to take fuel, send the return line fuel to excess fuel, and it's going to put it back in the tank. Now, I think I did that right. Now I'm even having second thoughts. Dude, I'm really going to have to hit the books if I go back to work, because I don't even... Yeah, it is right, because we're draining... I showed the wrong engine. The configuration is correct, but I showed the wrong engine. So we're taking fuel from this tank. We're going to send it over to this engine. But this tank is still gravity feeding. So we're also still taking fuel from this tank. So now we have more fuel than we need going to this engine, right? So at that point, that fuel goes to the fuel return line and comes back into this tank. So we're kind of cross-feeding, but there is no transfer between. It's no tank-to-tank cross-feed like some aircraft have. I know some of the wide-body Boeings have that tank-to-tank cross-feed. We're not doing that. All we're doing is taking fuel from the right tank, sending it to the left engine. It's being bypassed and returned, and inadvertently being sent into the left engine. So we'll let that cross-feed for a little bit, but I always like to turn the ignition on during a cross-bleed, and I would not, unless I needed to, I would not really be cross-feeding in a descent or on an arrival, unless, we were out of balance and we needed to. Ethan says, when is the next episode of the Corporate Pilot series dropping? That'll be Monday, Ethan. They're going to be dropping Monday, man. Do I use an electronic logbook or paper? I've got both, man. I think I've got two or three. I think I have 2.5 paper logbooks, and then I transition to electronic. But my logbook is, I want to say 3 years behind, which is kind of making me nervous now because who knows what's happening with this situation, right? With this whole COVID-19. And now I'm like, man, I should really get on my logbook and get it up to date before who knows what happens, right? What if I need to apply for a new job? So my logbook is 3 years behind. All right, so it'd probably be transferring a little bit faster than it is right now, but I'll believe it. 2210, let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on in preparation for landing. How are we looking now? 1280, 1260. You notice how this is stayed at 1260? Is there any manual for the TOLUS 319? Man, I feel like I should know that, but I don't. I've never looked for a manual just because I have my own. There might be in the documents. James says, overall plane, are you going full Flight Factor or TOLUS? I have the minibus from TOLUS and I love it, but I don't get the full feel. It's tough, man. I think if you hang in there on that TOLUS 319 and you wait for an updated FMGC, I think you'll be all right. I do love the Flight Factor, I gotta say. We're close enough now, that's like 10 kilos. So, very important, crossfeed and pumps. You want to make sure you turn your pumps on first, then close the crossfeed valve. Because if for some reason you couldn't turn those pumps back on and then you shut the crossfeed off, then you could potentially have an issue. And then we'll go ahead and turn the ignition back off, get rid of the fuel page, and everything is hunky-dory. Ladies and gentlemen, we are descending into Barcelona. Arrival 1816 looks good. Why is this thing jittering on me? Do you guys see that? It's kind of weird. How we looking? We are on speed. There's 18,000 feet. That's not a transition, though. A transition over here is going to be... Oh, a set by ATC. Wow. So I guess we'll leave it at 5,000. We'll just simulate it being set at 5,000 feet. Oh. Wow, this is stunning. I love these golden light arrivals. I think it's fun to kind of challenge ourselves to get off the ground at a certain time and then arrive to our destination at the golden hour. That just looks beautiful. Motive says, thanks for all you do, V1. Very much appreciated. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Have I ever used or popped out the compass? Yeah, I use it to remind myself that something's missing from the airplane, typically the can. So if maintenance comes up and they take the logbook, because maybe they're writing something up, I'll drop the compass down. Anytime I see the compass down, that means I'm missing something and I do not want to move the airplane. As far as actual flying with the compass, no. If you're flying with that drop-down compass, you are having one heck of a bad day. Nick says, not hearing any PTU sounds with the BSS on the 319. Any idea why? The only thing I would think of is your configuration for the PTU to be activated correct. So the best way to test that would be to start up your engine, start up your left engine, and then leave the yellow electric pump off. You should hear the PTU running. Did I manage to check out the FTsim IE sounds? No, Carta, I did not. I opened up the instructions and I was just like, I don't know. He said, like, copy 2 folders to here, replace these 2 folders, back this one up. But if you have BSS, copy these other folders. And I didn't know what to do. I know I did it before, but I just didn't feel like going through trial and error again. That's the only downside with FTsim, is I think he really needs to work on those instructions. Oh, that looks stunning down there. Man, I don't know if I want to stay out here. Oh, wow. Or stay here. We're probably through 10,000 feet. We probably should turn some lights on. There we go, 10.4. After that, at 10,000, max 250 knots. So we might need a little bit of speed brake to help us slow down there. Meet that 250 knot restriction. James has been having a lot of fun with the citation. Can't wait till Monday. Awesome, man. I can't wait either. It's going to be fun. Speed alt star. Stow the speed brakes. All right, from there we're going to transition over. Let's go ahead and drop it down. Set 5,000. There is our restriction. Here we go. Open descent. I'm going to go ahead and select speed 250. Thrust idle, open, descent, activate, confirm at a 10,000 feet. Landing lights are coming on. We're going to turn them all on because we don't have any ATC. Look at that shot. I wish airports were that easy to see in real life. Flight Surgeon, I am flying the NEO mod, man. I'm flying the NEO mod. These sharklets are... these aren't the Matavia mod sharklets. These are the old sharklets that I converted. But I do know Matavia has their own sharklets out now. It's a power transfer unit, PTU. The bus on your fleet have the ice light? Yep, have the ice light, man. Strix has really torn at the moment. Either pay $70 for the tollless 19 or save money and put it towards FS320, which has an Airbus. Ooh, Strix. I don't know, man. That's a tough call. I don't know. It depends on when you want to fly. Who knows? When is 2020 supposed to come out? Alright, so here comes CLE. From there, we're going to transition minimum altitude 5,000, basically self-vectoring ourselves. Our next waypoint after Charlie Lima Echo is the D22K, which we could go all the way down to 1,800 if we want to. And we'll just set 1,800 for cinematic purposes at the very least. We'll maintain 250 knots for now. We should do a descent check, though. Or approach checklist. Briefing complete. ECAM status checked. Seatbelts are on. Minimums 208 set. Engine anti-ice 1 and 2. That is off. Altimeters. We're standing by at the transition level, which was we said was 5,000 feet. So we'll hang tight on those. Wow, listening to that whine. Nincompoop, when you activate approach phase, 10,000 feet in selected speed. That's when we do it. There'll be 100 different answers, but if you do it the same way every single time, you'll never mess up, you'll never be fast, you'll never be slow. 10,000 feet, activate, confirm, but just make sure you're in selected speed, or else it will attempt to start slowing the VAP. Compared to the IAEs, what are the NEO engines like, Tesla guy? So the NEO motors, I think they perform comparable, if not a little bit better at low altitude. You really feel the difference though up at high altitude. Above 28,000 feet, moderately loaded in a NEO, I feel like your climb performance starts to struggle compared to the IAE or the CEO engine option. And I think that just has to do with, the big fan section, but it's very minimal. It's just, I don't know, it may just be me projecting too. I just think there's a lot of bypass air with these Pratts. James says, I want the MD-11. I hope it comes out before the end of time. Me too, man. I would be super excited for the MD-11. Does the 319 have significantly better climb performance to the 321? Depending on the loadout. If you were to take both airplanes empty, the 321 will probably outclimb the 319 because it has a very good thrust-to-weight ratio. But on average, day-to-day, yes, the 319 is going to climb better than the 321. There she blows. I don't know, do we want to be in the window or out of the window? Wow, that looks nice. Look at that night lighting. I love these approaches, man. This is the most beautiful thing. Got the LED lights, courtesy of Matavia. Orange sun. Woo. Yes, sir. Straight juice. Listen to those puppies humming, just at idle thrust, too. There she blows on the horizon. We probably need to slow down at some point, too. Alright, we also need to set a transition. What did I say it was? 1025 set once, twice, and I never set it on this one 3 times. I'm gonna go ahead and start slowing down because we're gonna be fast. I'm gonna go ahead and select vertical speed for a second. I'm gonna select about 900 feet per minute. If you select vertical speed here, 900 to 1,000 feet per minute, you're still gonna be able to descend, and the airplane's gonna respond to speed changes. So at this point, you know, if you're doing an open descent, you're gonna really level off, and you may get high on your profile. We have plenty of time. I could even level off right here. But if you're in a situation where you think you need to really start slowing down, just go ahead and pull vertical speed to 1,000 feet or 900. That way the airplane continues to come down, but as you see here, my speed is also trending down. So it's a niche configuration where you can sort of get that slow down and go down. But it's only at about 1,000 feet per minute. Anything more than that, it's going to be tough. There comes flaps 1. Look at the flaps extending out. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and stow the buckets right now. I bumped him out of the climb detent there. We don't want to do that. Alright, we'll go ahead and arm the approach. AP2 is armed. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, glide slope blue, elope blue. We're Cat 3 dual now. They're configured nice and early. Oh, the speed brakes are still out a bit. Reflection off the wing there. Wow, yeah, we came in really low. Alright, we can go flaps 2. Let's go to, where's my flap view? I love seeing that beacon reflecting off the wingtip fairing there, or the flap fairing. Alright, flaps 2, 180 knots. We're activated, confirmed, speed 180. We're just going to wait for that slope to come down. You want to see a butter? We're doing a go-around first, but then hopefully we'll get a butter on the second one. This first one we may smash, we'll see. But I'm going to try to simulate a low-altitude go-around. Alright, so here comes the slope. We're already at 2,000. We're already slightly below our 2,000 configuration window. I'm going to wait for it to be right about 1 dot. Right about there. Manage the speed. Gear down. Gosh, I just want to look around. This is stunning. Straight juice. Alright, we'll go ahead and go VFE next minus 10, flaps full. Arm the speed brakes, cabin check. Landing checklist, cabin crew advised, auto thrust, speed, ECAM memo, landing all green, auto brakes off, landing checklist is complete. Since we're doing a completely hand-flown approach on the next one, I'm just going to leave it fly for a second. Just admire this. Man, oh man. Alright, we should probably do something
1,000.
here. I'll leave, you know what? Let's just simulate, well no, I don't want to leave the autopilot on. I'll hand fly it. So I'll disengage the auto thrust. Let's just say we're coming down. I'm gonna try to time it right about 30 feet here. It'll actually be a good test to see how the momentum carries us down. I mean, we are pretty light. We don't have a ton of fuel to be doing a lot of go-arounds, but we'll let it go. Full send here. Yeah, it looked like a cruise ship to me, man. I mean, this runway just looks so welcoming compared to everything else we've been flying into on this Euro tour. I hate to punish a good runway.
400.
Back at the right time. Yes, you are, man. Alright, so quick brief on the go-around. Go-around flaps, positive rate, gear up. Flaps 1, flap 0 after takeoff checklist. And I'll just self-vector myself around for left traffic.
Minimum.
Alright, so let's say we're clear to land. We're flying it down here.
100.
I'm going to try not to anticipate it either.
50.
Fueling 533. Go-around traffic on the runway.
20.
Go-around flaps. Positive rate. Gear up. Man, we didn't even smash. I thought we would. Man, Toga, SRS nav. Fueling 133. Common maintain 3000. Common maintain 3000. Fueling 133. Lever climb. Flaps 1. Speed checks. 2 steps up. Flaps 1. Thrust climb. Auto thrust. Autopilot 1. Fueling 533, turn left, flight heading 190. Turn left, heading 190, fueling 533. Alright, flaps 0 after takeoff checklist. Set speed, set speed 210 knots for now. Speed alt star, 1000 to go. After takeoff checklist. Gears up, flaps up. Bleeds and packs and APUs up. Everything looks good. After takeoff checklist is completed. Whoo, baby. Now I'm going to try to make this a tight-in approach so we can just come right back around and actually get that on the replay. Fueling 533, continue left turn, heading 080. 080, fueling 533. Alright, so let's go ahead and recycle this approach here. Arrival. ILS 25 left, there we go, and it was still in the box. What's our final approach fix? It is D5.4. Oh no, SOTOL. Oh, FF2. Oh, we'll take it off SOTOL. So I'm gonna go direct SOTOL, radio in, 065, insert, reselect heading. So now I've got an extended center line. And I've covered that in a couple different videos. So I've got an extended center line here. We're being vectored around for the go-around. Joe Richardson, thank you for the subscribe. What was the reason for the go-around? You guys wanted to see a low-altitude go-around. I was actually trying to get the go-around to hit the runway there, kind of like we were talking about on the approach in there, but I think we're just so light that, I mean, I went full Toga and that thing just rocketed out. I didn't even catch the VSI. It's hard to see in that window. That's still a beautiful shot right there. Slam Cannon says I buttered the air. Nice. Thanks, man. All right, I don't want to linger up here too long though. Viewing 533, descend and maintain 1,800. Expect short approach. 1,800 will expect it. Viewing 533. So I'm going to come back to 180. We're VFE next -10. Flaps 1. Thrust idle. Open descent. I would have recycled the lights there as well, but I don't really have ATC, so I'm also going to shorten this up here. I'm going to take us off the final approach fix now. 066, insert that. And my box is doing a little something funky here. I'm going to reactivate the approach phase. Set. Revealing 133, turn left heading 050. 050.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
It's almost like it wants me to redirect. Let me try a trick here. I'm going to try redirect to... Oh, you know what it is?
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
This is interesting. It's got the here. That's what I want. There we go. Now it cleaned it up. It was taking it off the original one. Thank you for the subscribe. I missed it there. Alright, 2,600. Reselect heading so you don't auto-join there. Now my box looks nice and clean. We're VFE next to -10. Let's go flaps 2. Now it's getting dark. Thing of beauty.
2,500.
Viewing 533. Can you make it from there? Yeah, we can do it. Viewing 533. Cleared visual approach. Runway 25 left. Cleared visual 25 left. Viewing 533. Auto thrust is coming off. Flight directors coming off. Give me the bird. Manage speed, so at least I get a speed target. Let's go ahead and turn it around. I wish I had track IR. I'm going to go ahead and pop this out just for a little extra reference. Flaps 3. So we got no auto thrust, just hand flying. I'm just kind of using the DU here to cheat since I don't have my track IR on. I'm going to turn it all the way in now, set up an intercept heading, maintain 1,800. I actually descended a little bit low there. Keep my speed about 160 or so. Thank you for the subscribe, guys. I'm sorry I missed your name. It's Christian Lopez and 4 Kistrel. Appreciate it, man. Could you start both engines via APU bleed in the Airbus? You mean at the same time? No, it'll trip all kinds of warnings, man. Ask me how I know. Not in the narrow body. I think the I don't know if the 350 can do it. I thought there was, what's the 4 engine? 340? A340 can start 2 at a time, I believe. Now you can dual motor in the NEO, and I don't know if it's a limitation for the bleed system, but I know the logic in the real airplane will freak out if you try to do it. It'll be like, start fault, engine start cancel, master caution. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It won't work. We're visual with the runway though. Things are looking good. I can go ahead and get rid of this cheaty one here. I'm not going to go flaps full there until we start our descent. I really want to try to avoid being fully configured in level flight. So now that I'm on the slope here, let's go ahead and lower the gear. Flaps full. If you can, it's best to avoid flying around in level flight fully configured. Oh, overshot the runway there a little bit. Healing 533, runway 25 left, clear to land. 25 left, clear to land, 533. I gotta get that stupid cabin thing. I hate this thing, I really do. Why did they do that? Ah, there we go. Now we're high. I really wish they would make that part of the push button on the overhead, if you just, kind of how Tolus does it. Alright, so we're high, let's go ahead and get it down. We're above 1,400 feet, so we can increase our rate of descent here to catch back up to it. It's once we go sub 1,000 feet, we're really going to have to limit ourselves on our descent rate. But you can see, just a few seconds not paying attention, you can get out of position. There we go. Here comes 1,000 feet. Descent rate back below about 1,000 feet per minute. That looks good. I keep forgetting I'm using manual thrust, too. 4,000 feet stable, ref -3, correcting. Man, after flying all these super steep approaches, I feel super low now, and I want to fly high. That's fun. That's funny. I keep wanting to go high on the glide slope.
500.
Got a nice quartering tailwind. Worst possible wind to have.
400. 300. 100 above.
Flew this one in almost half dot high the whole way. Wow.
200. Minimum.
Getting rusty, man. Getting rusty.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 20. 10. 5.
What? Spoilers. I thought that was going to be nice. Reverse green. $70 knots. We'll take the next high speed here. Stow the buckets, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Barcelona. Always land flaps full for the most part. There are some situations where you're going to land flaps 3. In particular, high wind situations, wind shear, things like that. Alright, now we need to figure out where to go. I think we're just going right over here. We'll get the APU fired up right away. Is there any other Vueling airplanes? I don't see anybody. I do see an Iberia down there. Everything is cleaned up. Catch those replays and call it a night.
Subscriber ahead.
Thank you for the subscribe, Pedro. Appreciate it, man. We'll park on the left side of this KLM. Sounds good to me. Yeah, there's the gate right there. APU is available. We'll kill the taxi light. Oh, are these gates angled? Oh no. Oh, that doesn't really look like an appropriate gate for us, huh? This is like the RJ section. We'll flip it around right here. We'll just use air stairs. I think we're on the RJ section. Could I do a manual demonstration or start for manual start? Ooh, that's an interesting point. I'll have to see if it's simulated. But yeah, if I remember, man, I think that's actually a good idea. I don't know if it's simulated though. I have a feeling it's probably not. Since we don't have a marshaller, we'll cheat. Brake set. APU is available. Engine 2. Seatbelts. Engine 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spain. Wow. We were just hitting all kinds of countries up on this tour. I love it. I absolutely love this. Gotta go. Thanks for another one. Take it easy, Santi. Nice having you on board, man. I know it's getting late for a lot of you out there, too, so let's go ahead and do this replay. Let's disable real view. Let's throw you guys into a replay mode. And let's back it up. kind of want to see the go-around. Let's see if we have the go-around. Here's the go-around. All right. Oh, that is so juicy right now. There's just so much juice happening on this shot right here. Wow. Did you get the payware VFR Barcelona package? No, this is the freeware one. I did see the payware one. I had it in my cart. The sim from Sim Market, I believe. Dimitri says I couldn't care less about the feet per minute rating. It's all about the G number being in the landing zone and centerline. Agreed, Dimitri. I'm definitely gonna have to look at that one. I thought we were gonna butter it out. It seems smooth to me. How come APU and not external power? What's the difference? External power, we'd have to wait for the ground crew to come up and plug it into the airplane. Romulus says they do simulate manual start. Cool. All right, well, we can do a manual start on the next one. Definitely, I agree, Slamkin. I think this approach was freaking beautiful. All right, let's go outside since this is a go-around. We'll sit on the tower view for right now, watching it coming in. Couple of cruise ships out there. Absolutely love it. Was it intentional that I didn't use auto brakes? Yeah, organic milk. Well, even in real life, I tend not to use them unless it's a significant crosswind or it's required, by the airport, short runway, something like that. I just like having that control. What I normally do, and I do it in real life, I do it in the sim too, I catch myself, is right after touchdown, I'll just kind of ease on the brakes just a little bit to make sure they're working, make sure everything's good. Then I just let off. I let the reversers slow us down, and then then I get on them after we slow down about 70 knots or so. Because even auto brakes low in the Airbus, it's just hard on the plane, man. It really grabs. All right, so let's check this replay out here. We'll do it from this view. This is probably going to sound awesome. Oh, we did not hit. Look how close. I was trying to get us to actually touch the ground on the go-around. That's where we hit. Or didn't hit. Positive rate, gear up. I mean, that's a steep shot right there. Does it have our VSI? No, it doesn't have any vertical speed. That was pretty cool. Let's really quick, one more on the go around, just because I don't think I never really see this. We'll watch it from here the whole way. Well, you know what? Scratch that. One more go around shot. I know you guys want to get out of here. We'll do it from right here. Coming in, coming in. Going around. That's pretty cool. Gear up, and we are out of here. All right, we'll spin it forward. We'll come all the way around to the second landing. Here's our downwind turn. Probably move it forward a little bit. Are we up? There we go. Turn it final. And let it come forward a little bit more. Perfect. Right about there. Samkin says Airbus RTO goes face in seat. Oh yeah. You'll definitely be tasting that seat back in front of you, man. Samkin says vertical speed was 3,400 for level off. Nice. What are the passengers' reactions in real life if you go down? Sometimes some people love it. Some people get really nervous. But I always, if we have to do a go around, I always try to immediately make a PA to the cabin. Let them know that nothing's wrong with the airplane. Everything's fine. We'll just come around for another attempt. FO screwed it up. So that's what I say normally. I don't say the FO screwed up, but I always try to make up excuses. You don't want to tell them the full truth because then they get nervous. Like, hey, yeah, we had to go around because we almost had another Tenerife incident there in Barcelona. But So yeah, tower told us to go around. There was traffic, a vehicle or something. Melted the tarmac, Dougal. Definitely, man. All right, we'll do one of these landings from right here, from this shot, and then we'll do a couple from the outside and wrap it up. Strick says, as a passenger years ago experiencing this, let's just say I'm more relaxed now watching it here. Definitely. That's good, man. What up, Gio? Welcome to the stream, man. That looked freaking buttery to me. Hearing them reverser spool up. Oh, yeah. All right, let's back it out. My initial impressions thought that should have been juicy. Gosh, how about those LED lights, though? Coming in, much better flare than we had in Corf, wherever we landed last time. That was pretty textbook. That was pretty textbook landing right there. Let's see, where did we actually touch down at? Tad off center line there. Definitely in the touchdown zone. Nice, easy, one motion flare. Boom. Right on the touchdown markers. Aiming, 1,000 footers, touchdown marker, a long touchdown marker, and the end of the line. Whew. Guys, CJ Hollister says, dude, I absolutely love watching you, XP, fly the bus. Thanks you, man. I appreciate it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this stream. Everybody hanging out here in chat. Mod sponsors, donors, definitely starting with you guys. Working hard as always. Really appreciate you hanging out with me on the stream this lovely Friday. I hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed the scenery, the night lighting, the Airbus. Everyone else just hanging out and stream. Love you guys just as much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Probably won't see you guys. I may see you guys on Sunday. I don't know yet, but I will not see you tomorrow. If you're waiting for that Corporate Jet series, it'll be coming at you Monday at 5:50 in the morning. Local. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take care. V1. See ya.